All right. This is Coach Scott. Welcome back to the channel. Thank you for tuning in. Tonight's topic is going to be about clearing negative energies, and also I will be offering some modes of protection. But before we jump right in, if you are seeking a consultation or a coaching session, then I can be reached at www.lifeistheliving.net. And as always, the 4 represents soul, spirit, mind, and body. All right, so jumping in. Okay, clearing negative energies. Usually one of the things I do, first thing I do when I get up, and I go right into my prayer mode when I get up. I come downstairs, go to my altar, and my prayer goes like this: Infinite Absolute, Universal Prime Creator, the infinite source of all creation. Thank you for protecting me, my family, and our homes. Thank you for your guidance. I start with that gratitude first. That's the first thing I do. Secondly, I roll right into it, and that's Infinite Absolute, Universal Prime Creator, the infinite source of all creation. I ask that you would identify, locate, and clear from me and my home any and all forms of known and unknown forces, frequencies, vibrations, beings, and non-material beings, spirits, energies, and entities who are not operating for my best interest. And I ask that this be done now on all timelines, past, present, future, quantum and parallel, and in all temporal locations, within all dimensions, densities, levels, realms, realities, universes, multiverses, omniverses, all levels of existence and all levels of non-existence, for my most benevolent outcome and the most benevolent outcome of all involved. And that's usually how I start the day off of clearing myself. Because sometimes, at night, energies pass through. They pass through your home. Sometimes some things may stay, some things may not. But I do have protection all around the house. I'm just saying sometimes things may slip in. Especially if you're a person that watches TV, leaves your TV on at night while you sleep. Nah, stuff can come right in, right through the TV. So, you want to watch that type of thing. But that's usually what I do. I do that in the morning. When I get home from work at night, I clear myself, I clear my home. And that packs a punch. I've been using that for years. And even when I travel and I go out of town, that's the first thing I do. I clear my hotel room. I do it. Probably won't know how did I come about that particular prayer, but the place I had rented, and this was a while back, moved in. Well, come to find out later, I found out that the previous person that had stayed there had actually committed suicide. So, yeah. Didn't let me know that, but usually when something like that happens, man, whatever was there that may have caused the person to commit the suicide, or sometimes it can, something like that can open a portal. But I'd probably say, man, within the first, even the first couple of weeks, 3 weeks of being there, started noticing a lot of, notice subtle things, just subtle things. Then it kind of escalated a little bit. I could be in there, watching TV or something, thinking I saw somebody, like I'm jumping, like walking to the bathroom or something like that. I'm like, wait a minute. And then, hearing people, I was like, oh man, okay, what is going on? So this went on for like a little minute, man. And I'm talking about, I done sage the place, sage the place, try to keep like some positive energy flowing through, man. High frequency music, some mantras playing. Nah, it wasn't working. So one day I'm sitting up in my place, man, I'm meditating. And, some people say higher self, I say true self. So my true self came through and was like, no, repeat after me. And I'm sitting there, was like, infinite absolute, universal prime creator, the infinite source of all creation. And man, let me tell you, soon as I said this, soon as I said it, it was like somebody dropped the sun inside my apartment. It was just like, I was like, yo, I'm talking about, I had seen some things before, but when it was like the sun came in, it was just like, I saw stuff like leaving, completely just rolling out. And I'm sitting here like, whoa, like, okay. So over time, of course, I modified it. I added some stuff into it, extra stuff, like for when I did like a really deep clearing on myself. I added some stuff to it, or even deeper clearing on my home. But, for those who are watching, you can use that and it works. I guarantee it works. But that's usually how I start my days off, clearing myself. When I return from work, clearing myself, clearing my home. But usually in the mornings when I do that, the second thing I do after having my morning prayer, I go outside. And I connect with Mother Nature. One of the first things I do, go outside, plant my feet on the ground, barefoot, connecting with Mother Earth. That's one of the first things I do. And I'll sit there in silence. Just taking in everything, the air. I usually do some breath work, just in through the nose, out through the mouth, just to clear myself. And I just sit there in stillness, man. I'm just sitting out there, taking it all in, letting my body connect with Mother Earth. And usually after about 10 minutes, anything that I may might have woke up in a bad mood or had something on my mind, usually it clears right up. It usually clears right up. But after that, then I really go into seriously, really a focused grounding. Because usually when you outside and you're barefoot and your feet are on Mother Earth, you're grounding. But I go into more of a focused grounding. And that is, I will visualize golden roots coming out the soles of my feet. And I'll visualize the roots going down into the earth. And I will visualize it going deep, deep, deep. And I even see the roots just spreading. Now, it took me a little minute to get that visualization going, but you're dealing with your will, desire, and intent. So after a while of practicing, I got to the point where I could see it. And after a while, the third eye would pop open. And I would literally see those roots that I visualized. I'd see them going down deep into Mother Earth. And usually from there, I would silently affirm, I decree that all psychic attacks and contamination directed to me will be flushed down immediately into the earth, so be it. Now we got to remember, we are divine sparks of the universal prime creator. You speak it and it is so. We are a reflection of that. So when I say be it, and I say so be it, you are creating a strong elemental. And that elemental is going to do exactly what you just said. It's going to do it. That's also a buffer of protection. So when I do that, yes, it's being created. It is going to be so. You're creating that elemental, that thought form, bam. Now, Next, I say to Mother Earth, thank you for absorbing all psychic attacks and contamination directed to me, so be it. Now, then I say, I decree that this psychic root and program will remain for 7 days, so be it. Now, this is not one that I just came up with. I want y'all to know that. This particular technique came out of, you can see that, practical psychic self-defense for home and office. And this is by Master Choa. I'm not going to even try to jack this dude's name by trying to pronounce it. You can find this book on Amazon, Practical Psychic Self-Defense for Home and Office. That's where I got the technique from. Now, over the years, I have used it, all the time. Had some experiences with it. Remember, this has been a little minute ago, but I was in the barbershop, and I'm in the barbershop and getting my hair cut, and I get in the chair, man, and I'm sitting there, and third eye just pops open, man. So I see these two spirits just roll up, and this is right when the barber is cutting what hair I had then, he's cutting my hair, man. So I'm like, oh, man. So immediately, I visualized the roots coming out of my feet, breaking down through the flooring and going straight down into Mother Earth. And I held it, man. As soon as it was like, I saw it in my mind, the two spirits were gone just like that. Just like that. It was like poof. And I was sitting there like, okay. Like, man. Because it was like one of the moments like, when I'm out in the backyard doing it and I just visualized and I felt, I'm just like, it was like boom, like bam, I did it. Like, okay, it worked. So yeah, that was one instance I was like, oh man. But usually, when I go outside and I do that, man, like I said, anything that's on you that shouldn't be there is going down into the earth. I can tell you that. Or it's going to get away from you, because when you're putting time into this and you're working with Mother Earth, she works with you. That's a guarantee. But that's a technique I've used, and I also use that technique for protection. Anybody trying to direct something your way, nah. And, usually like that, while I'm there, I'm projecting gratitude even towards Mother Earth. Thank you for the wildlife. Thank you for the provision that you provide for us on the planet. So yeah, I think that's important to show that. It shouldn't just be hey, do this for me or something like that. No. So that's a technique I use also for clearing and as a mode of protection. Another technique I use, and this has worked for me over the years as well, and that is surrounding myself in golden light. I've used that, and that usually goes usually before I roll up out of the house. I go through a series of things I do. I don't want to pick up nobody else's energy. That's just something I don't want to do when I'm out. And I try to keep myself in an upbeat mood. I'm trying to, usually if you're projecting just positive energy, you're going to experience the positive. Now, sometimes you might come across some energy, and you be like, oh man, where did that come from? So, but if I'm out, before I roll out, I will say, I am surrounded by the golden light of the universal prime creator, which shields me and protects me from any and all forms of harm, invasion, and interference. So be it. I am utilizing the power of speech. I'm utilizing that. I'm utilizing my divine potential. I'm utilizing that. Like, our speech is powerful. So you can do this. You can do this on a daily basis, and it works. Every technique I have worked with, I've had an experience with. This particular technique, I got a friend, he lives out in the countryside. And I like to go out there to recharge just to get away from the city. So I had gone out there to visit. Hey man, I'm gonna come out this weekend. Is that cool? He's like, man, come on out. And when I got there, he's like, man, man, there's been some weird stuff going on. So I'm like, what? He's like, nah, dude, the dog's been starting to bark at night. I'm like, for real? I was like, he's like, yeah. I said, man, okay, that's kind of odd. But, I wasn't thinking about it. But anyway, got back, got to his property, I would say. Got to his property, and I'm out there, and I would just love to just take walks out there, man, because, the breeze that's out near that way, man, it's just so relaxing, man. There were times, man, I just sit out in this backyard, man, with that breeze out there, man, and shoot, I kick back in a chair or something, and I'm out. I'm gone. It's just that peaceful out there, man, and I love that. And I'm just out there walking. Walking along the property line, taking it all in. So, man, I'm out there, and actually, I saw I would probably see like a flash. I would say that, like a flash of lights. I'm like, all right, what was that? So anyway, I still keep walking, So now I'm looking. So I'm like, okay, nah. Can't be what I think it is. Can't be. That's what I'm saying to myself, like, nah, that's not what that is. Anyway, I don't know if anybody, I'm pretty sure everybody has heard of David Icke and his material, his books, and he talks about the reptilians. Well, man, I'm out on my buddy's property, and I saw this reptilian-looking being. It was looking at me, but the crazy part about it, was there was like light surrounding this thing. So I'm like, no, man. So of course, I'm like, okay, I did just see that. So anyway, I'm heading back. So of course, I wasn't gonna tell him what I saw because I'm just like, okay. So anyway, got back. So we get back to the house, and so we start talking. And I was like, I said, man, you say the dogs be barking out here? He was like, yeah, man. I was like, okay. So I said, well, what else? So he goes, man, it sounds like somebody scraping on the side of the house. I'm like, that's what you mean, scraping? He said, no, like somebody's like dragging something across the house. I'm like, huh. So now I'm in my head, I'm like, all right, now do I say something to him or I just keep quiet about it? So of course I kept quiet. I didn't say nothing because I'm like, all right, I don't want to scare him or nothing like that. So he said he'd go out there with his gun, didn't see anything. So I'm like, all right, I wasn't gonna say nothing. So anyway, that night I surrounded myself with the golden light. I did it. Anyway, did that. Next morning, we get up. We go to breakfast. So dude is quiet. He ain't really saying nothing. So I'm like, all right. So I'm like, dude, what's wrong? He's like, dude, something came up in here last night. I'm like, yo, for real? I'm like, for real? He's like, yeah. So he's like, dude, he's like, some lizard-looking thing came up in here, man. And he said it kind of like, it just was like kind of startled me. I was like, okay. He said, man, you didn't notice nothing last night? I was like, nah, I didn't. I slept like a baby. He was like, he said, man, Barry, I don't know, man, what the hell was that? So then I finally told him what I saw. He's like, well, dude, why didn't you tell me that? I was like, well, dude, I didn't want to shake you up, man. I was just like, no, I didn't want to do that. So he was like, man, dude. Anyway, so I told him, everything I had seen. He shared his experience. So I said, well, look, I said, I do this shielding technique of surrounding myself. So I gave him that technique. Then, we did a prayer, cleared the house, cleared his property, and things were quiet for a little bit. He kind of noticed, he hear the dogs out there. Things kind of, I guess it kind of popped back in a few times, but he did it a few times, and after that, he didn't see it no more. So that was one with the golden light that I know. I was like, oh man, but that worked. With a combination of the prayer, calling in the infinite absolute universal prime creator. That worked. It worked. So if it's working, use it. That's my take on it now. But that happened. Um, and I was glad he could utilize it, but and that was, like I said, believing in your divinity, your divine potential, speak it. But it worked. That's the mode of protection that I use. And I've been using that for years. I still use it. Let me see. Now, another one I use is you can find this technique on YouTube. Also, you can find it on the Gnostic website, Glorian Gnostic. And it's protection with the 5-pointed star, the pentacle, the pentagram, where a series of movements where you place yourself in the 5-pointed star. That works. Nah, that works. I can tell. Ooh, man, I did that, and the place I was working at. Now, it was rumored that the place was haunted. This had been a little while back. It was rumored the place is haunted. Now, me myself, I hadn't encountered anything on that level in that building. I hadn't encountered anything. Now, I was probably taking it too because the way I was protecting myself, daily, the techniques, the things I do on a daily basis. Well, one night, I'm in the office, I'm working, and man, I could just feel that there was a presence there, and I was like, okay, something's up. I can feel this. Like, okay, something is up. Like, I can feel it. So anyway, it was getting close to my break time. So I was like, all right, I'm going to lunch anyway. So, I'm in there. I'm basically like, in my mind, like, nah, like, get up out of here, like that type of thing. But anyway, I go outside. I'm on my break. So I'm sitting outside, and then my vision opens up, and then I'm like, oh, wow, that's what that is? Like, whoa, okay, interesting. So I get back inside the building because I'm like, okay. Anyway, got back in, and I'm still in my mind like, man, okay, get up. In my mind, I'm like, man, get the hell up out of here like that. So this joke is not leaving. So finally, I get up from my computer. I stop what I'm doing. I roll into it. Boom, boom, come down across my head, lock my body in the pose, put myself in the 5-pointed star. And man, when I tell y'all this thing shot across the office and went up the wall, and the whole wall just rumbled. And I was sitting there like, damn, like, okay. But all that, just that fear I was feeling, unsettling energy, man, all of it it was instant. It was gone. Once I put myself into the 5-pointed star, the pentagram, once I did that, nah. That is a tool of protection. And you can find that on the Glorian Gnostic website. It's also known as the microcosmic star as well. So that works. I'm telling y'all right now, that works. I do that on a daily basis as well before I roll up out the house. Notice I got my necklace on. This is the Helm of Awe. You can actually visualize this as a form of protection. I've done that as well. This works. But I'll probably say the biggest thing you can do when you're on this journey, and that is working on yourself, doing your shadow work, facing those uncomfortable parts of yourself that you don't want to face, and also working with your inner child, doing some internal healing. Because, we've all suffered some type of trauma in childhood, and we carry that trauma in the form of energy with us. Well, when you out and about, and negative entities and spirits, they feed off of this stuff. They feed off that energy. So Um, a lot of times, if you out and you ain't done no work on yourself and you feel this stuff, it's like, ooh, like, okay, why am I feeling this? Why am I feeling this? And yeah, a lot of times it can be linked to some trauma you got on, or sometimes you just rolled up in a place and it's some bad energy. There could be portals all over the place. You got all types of negative stuff coming up in there, man. All types of stuff. So um, do some self work. Work on yourself. Do that, and you heal that trauma within yourself. You face that shadow of yourself. Those things the things about yourself you hate, or you were programmed to hate. Work on that stuff, man. And that, just by doing that, that'll cut down on stuff trying to mess with you. Now, let's see. Oh, so I mentioned the prayer with the infinite absolute universal prime creator. Now, also, I'm clearing my home, like specifically, I'll say infinite absolute universal prime creator, the infinite source of all creation. I ask that you would identify, locate, and clear any and all forms of portals, vortexes, doorways, gateways, pathways, and highways. And I'm asking that you close and clear them from my home. Because, you can have a portal in your home. You can have some nasty stuff coming through them jokers. You can. I've seen some stuff pop out of some places. I remember a while ago, one of my neighbors, he asked me to check on his dogs while he was gone. So, man, I'd go over there, walk his dogs, all this stuff like that. And, man, I'm over there one day, man. So I'm going over there. I'm taking the dogs out. And so now I'm chilling because I just open the door and let them go out in his backyard. Just let them kind of run around, do their little business, and they come back. So I'm sitting up in there, man. I'm up in dude's house, and it's like I'm seeing like these like black clouds, but they're spinning kind of like counterclockwise. So like counterclockwise. I'm like, what? So I'm like, damn, those are portals? Like, and that's exactly what it was. And he would tell me like sometimes the computer upstairs in his office just come on, just make all this noise. I'm like, dude, like that's not normal, man. That's not normal. So I was like, okay. So anyway, I showed him some techniques on clearing his house and all that stuff. It got better, what I'm saying, but just to roll. I mean, just be up in there like that. Nah, man, it ain't cool, man. But nah. So anyway, these are some of the things I use on a daily basis, and they do work. And I wanted to offer them to you all. So thank you all for tuning in. And I know that these techniques, the prayer and the techniques will serve you well. But until then, peace.